Folks, we're from Just Local Food Cooperative down at the corner of Farwell and Washington.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
My name's Nick Novak. This is Beth Martin. This is Bob Andruskevich. Bob A to Z.
No GMOs.
Yeah, Vegetable Bob, the Fruit Fly, Produce Manager Bob. We got it covered. I'm the meathead. Beth just got hired on to be our new marketing coordinator, and she's pretty awesome so far. So
Woo!
I'm going to start this off because I'm the boring, egg-headed professor one. Beth's the scary one, and Bob is our non-GMO ham, so he'll bring it in. We find ourselves at a unique place in history, at a crossroads. Politically, there are many reasons to despise Monsanto, but we would be remiss. Good Christ. But we would be remiss if we didn't present the broader context in which Monsanto and others are allowed to operate. Monsanto regularly behaves horribly, criminally, but they're able to do so only because the prevailing culture assumes, and has assumed for 100 years or so, that bigger is better, unchecked growth is the only answer, and if we blindly follow or allow technology to work its magic, we can somehow feed the world. We forget that this perspective is a relatively new one, and a radical one at that. Its track record is poor, and if we abide by the prevailing wisdom that unchecked, unbounded growth is good and our earth and all its inhabitants, we'll be sorely disappointed. So it is within this industrial monoculture food system that Monsanto profits. And it goes like this. Humans select a few plants, corn, wheat, soybeans, for rapid growth. Natural processes are controlled, chemicals are applied, biodiversity destroyed, efficiency, quote unquote, is achieved, and the system is repeated rapidly, but at what expense? Loss of forests, wetlands, prairies, loss of wildlife biodiversity, depleted and sick soils, water pollution, disease, on and on and on and on. All of this results in sick food, fake food, frankenfood, genetically modified food.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Fortunately, folks, there's another way, and you're standing right in the middle of it. Our mission at Just Local Foods is to foster a reconnection of people to their food. How we grow, process, distribute, buy, and consume our food is vitally important for our individual and collective health, and for the health of our planet. So where do we start? We start right here in the dirt, at the beginning. Soil is the nexus. The health of plants, animals, and people begins with a healthy soil. Every organism on this planet, above and below ground, has a role to play in maintaining this ecosystem. The billions of organisms that make up the soil community are dependent on you and on me, on all of us, for their health and well-being. Everything begins and ends with the soil. Our goal as gardeners and farmers is not really to grow plants, but to grow the soil. And this is an important concept. Our goal as gardeners and farmers is not really to grow plants, but to grow the soil. When we think about the soil and all the intricacies inherent in this superorganism, there are really only 3 words to remember. And this is where I'm quoting a soil scientist I had the pleasure of taking a class with at OSU. Add organic matter. If you remember 3 things, you don't need to know anything else. Add organic matter.
And you will have soil.
That's it. It's pretty simple.
Oh my God!
And we know that nothing that Monsanto does supports soil health. Absolutely nothing. When we use GMO crops and the herbicides that go along with them, we know that GMOs disrupt ecosystems and reduce biodiversity, do nothing to increase yield potential, create huge problems for farmers and herbicide-tolerant superweeds, compromise soil quality, and increase disease susceptibility in crops. GMOs are as energy-hungry as other chemically-laden farmed crops, and GMOs do not solve the problem of world hunger, but they distract from its real causes: poverty, lack of access to food, and more and more lack of access to land to grow it on. There is no good reason to take risks with GMOs. By avoiding GMOs, you contribute to the coming tipping point of consumer rejection, forcing them out of our food supply once and for all.
So now we have the oh my God moment. And everyone knows, because we have posters out there that say GMO, OMG, is backwards. And you have to say, oh my God, what are we doing this for? And maybe we should change GMOs to give me organic, or maybe we should say, get me out, because we don't want it. So I think changing the GMO and the Monsanto and making it so that we can use it ourselves is a good thing. The other thing I want to say is, everyone's been talking, everyone said everything I was going to say, just like the last gentleman said. And so what I'm going to say is, it's about action. The action is about talking in community. Just Local Food, I'm not trying to sell anything here, but we love to talk. You can just come to the store and talk. And we
They love to talk.
And so, with that in mind, just to prove you're all wrong, I'm going to sign out. Thanks very much. See us at Just Local Food. And we love you, and this is a great start.
Woo! Woo!